Hey guys, I'm Kyle. I'm the design director here at Sauls Garage for the design team, and we get a lot of questions about, hey, what should I do with a 20 by 20 garage or a 22 by 22 or just a simple two-car garage? Show some examples of that. Because it may seem that most of the garages that we do are big car storage facilities, or somebody's 40 by 60 shop that they've built out back, or like Fred's car barn in California. Stuff like that is maybe the more usual thing that we do, but we do get a lot of requests and we do work on a lot of smaller two-car garages. So the idea for this video is to show you guys some examples of smaller two-car garages. Not all of these are 20 by 20 or 22 by 22 and that type of size, but hopefully through looking at these, you'll get some ideas of what you can expect with your own garage or what you can do. Because when you have a really small 20 by 20 or something like that, you're kind of limited on space, and there's not a lot that you can do with that in terms of adding, cabinets and storage and giant compressor and stuff like that. So you have to get a little more creative. A lot of times it ends up that you just turn your two-car garage into a one-car garage. It's what I've done. You'll see with some of the clients that we have here, like Tim's garage that I have open right now. Really, it ends up just being a one-car garage if you're really wanting to maximize and have all the cool stuff that you want to be able to have. So let's jump into this, and I'll show you guys some examples and show you some of the stuff that we've been working on. This is Tim's two-car garage. It's actually, let's go back to the size. I'll show you that real quick. This is, exterior dimensions are basically 20 by 20. So that means interior dimensions are more like 19 by 19, which is not big. The only time you're really ever gonna fit two cars in a space like that is if you have nothing in the garage. So then you'd be looking at, all right, maybe I can put some upper cabinets on the back wall that are going to be up high and out of the way or something like that. But Tim wanted to go a different route. He still wanted to be able to have his tools and his cabinets and a lift and pressure washer and all of that. So you can see that we lined the sides of the garage with all of the cool stuff. So you may recognize this little setup with the MSS Plus locker and waste cabinet from the Helen garage. So that was something that he saw that was pretty cool, and we use that in design sometimes. We've got MSS Plus on the right side as well. We've shown him the recessed lift pit for his Sprinter 7. So this is a little different than a normal Jumbo 7 that would just have like the individual pits. But because of the Sprinter 7 and the cross sections that it has that moves and all of that, you end up with this really large hole in the ground, and then they have like this big metal plate that covers it. So you can see that, even in this small space, we really maximized the productivity potential and really setting this up almost as like a little one-car studio. Tim has gone on and bought a more of like an industrial building, like a garage condo that a lot of these cabinets are going to move to, and he'll add on to that, to fit the space. But he'll be replacing these. I think his plan is to go with Sabre, which is a great choice for just a utilitarian, nondescript, solid cabinet, and it'll still be a really good space. So you can see we tucked the lift controls over here in the corner, and that's really kind of the theme of a lot of these garages. Is you want it to look nice, of course, but you have to get creative with where you put things. Stuffing a subwoofer over in the corner, or your lift controls, pressure washer, stuff like that. This location here for the pressure washer in the front left or the front right is key for pretty much all the garages that we work on. That's like the location to do, because then it makes it easy to pull it out into the, pull the hose out into the driveway and all of that. The lighting that we did for him, let me go to the floor plan picture here. Because he was using it as a one-car space, and because the garage door is, right in the center, is pretty symmetrical, we're able to get really kind of symmetrical and even with the lighting. And so we have these LS8s right up the middle and to the sides, and it works out really well to provide some really good light. And even if you have a small space that you can't fit this much stuff in, so you do want to be able to fit 2 cars, I say this over and over, but flooring and lighting and paint, and you have the best garage you've ever seen in your life. So don't think that if you can't put all of the good stuff in there that it's not going to be a cool space. You can still make it a really good space. Troy's garage. Troy's is a little bit different because it's really shallow. It's only about, I think, 17 or 18 feet deep. Yeah, 17.7. And then width is just under 24. So not a lot of space in here, but he does have a little bit of extra width. So that's why we were able to put the cabinets over here on the left side. So if you have a garage that is deeper, or maybe it's wider, you have to think about how your cars are going to be in the space if you're going to have 2 cars in there. And then where are you going to have a little alleyway or a place to be able to put cabinets or put a compressor and your pressure washer and stuff like that. So Troy's garage, the key here was flooring and lighting and pressure washer. And then theoretically we can do the cabinets if there's going to be enough space. Undecided on that for himself. You can see he's got a lolly column here right in the middle, so that kind of constricts things. Fortunately, he doesn't have huge cars. I think he's got a GT4 RS now that he just picked up. And then I can't remember what his wife drives. It's like a smaller SUV, I think. Not a lot of space, and there's definitely no room for anything on the back wall. The benefit, though, of that is it creates a really clean environment for the cars while we're still able to get a little bit of storage in here. Again, flooring, lighting, paint makes all the difference in the world. And then, we can put some cabinets over here on the side, pressure washer again on the left, bucket filler over there as well. No room for shelves or anything like that, but that's okay. Still have a decent little cabinet array that'll be able to house a lot of tools. This single 890 8-drawer from Sonic will house at least our basic tool solution, which is like $5,000 in tools. And you get a lot for your money with Sonic, I think, with their tool sets. And that single cabinet will hold all of that and then some. You can add on and do some more, which is pretty sweet. That cabinet has is high capacity. So if you have a small space like this, you can get one cabinet or their rolling cabinet version of that, and you can fit a lot of tools in that. That'll probably cover you for a long time. So gives you a little bit of a example of a slightly wider garage. If say we didn't have this section over here on the left, and he still wanted to be able to have some kind of storage in here, what we could do, if that wall was brought in towards the cars a little bit more, you could do a row of upper cabinets, especially if you push them a little bit higher, a little bit more up towards the ceiling. Maybe the top shelf, you'd have to grab a stool to get some things off if you're a short guy like me. But that will help at least get something into the garage so that you can store your detailing stuff or anything else that you want to be able to put in there. Sauls Garage. So he's got another small space, and it is 20 feet deep on the internal. I think it's like 18 wide. He does have this like little bit of an alcove back here, but it's raised, so we're not really able to utilize that depth. And what we did, and you'll see once we jump into 3D, is we've just extended the countertop into that section. So he'll be able to do like a custom countertop. But this is another really kind of densely packed two-car garage that he's using as a one-car garage. You can see the theme here, especially with Emmanuel's garage that we did for the garage giveaway. I'm sure Waba is going to sprinkle in some footage from that, because that's one of the best two-car garages that we've ever done, and really what set the stage for a lot of our design language, you know, with the black ceilings and stuff like that. With that garage, in order to put the stuff in, because he won the garage giveaway and wanted to be able to include all that stuff, we really just had to turn it into like a little one-car detailing studio type of space. So that's a lot of times, if you have a 20 by 20 and you're really wanting to deck it out, that's what you got to do. You're gonna have to park, you know, some other car outside and really just utilize it as a single car space. So Saul had several requests for storage and wanted to be able to do like a treadmill. I think he had some other workout stuff too that he's going to put along the back wall. Still wanted to be able to have an air compressor set up, so we did a little whirler over here that can be easily tucked into the corner. A couple reels. He's got his water heater over there, of course. We were even able to fit a lev rack. So that's one of the beauties of lev rack, and I'm actually going to do this in my garage at some point, I think, to replace some of I've got just like some Husky cabinets in there right now. With a two-car garage that you're turning into a single car garage, you're going to be able to use the width of that space now, and you could do some lev rack in there and be able to really maximize your storage. So you could do, you know, they've got the 7 foot wide, 8 foot, 10 foot, 12 foot, and then you can go as shallow as 30 inches, you know, coming off the wall, which really ends up working out great for these kind of one-car converted two-car garages. You can see over here, we've got the pressure washer again, front right this time. No bucket filler under the shelves, because he's going to integrate it into the pressure washer setup, much like we did in Emmanuel's garage, which was pretty cool. And then we've got the MSS Plus cabinets over here. We did the portable cabinet instead of the stationary one, because you get just as many of the shallow tool drawers, same size. So all your tool storage capacity is exactly the same as the stationary cabinet, but then you do get the option to pull that out and roll it out. And now you have a seating area. You can, you know, pull the tools over to the other side of the car if you want to. Yeah, I really like doing that in pretty much every garage that we do, and especially in a small garage, because then it just expands your options of what you're going to be able to do. Let's do Payton's garage. So this one's a little bit bigger, but still two-car garage, and then it'll still give you a little bit of an idea. He's got some space on the left side with that door that's over there and this alcove, to where he'll still be able to you know, do a pressure washer. If he didn't have the other little alcove in the back, that's where we were going to put the cabinets for sure, because you could snug this pressure washer up a little bit closer to the door. We could even remove the shelves if we want to, and then you've got a lot of space over there to be able to put, you know, the cabinets and be able to really maximize your storage. He's doing a jack shaft opener. So that's one of the best things that you can do, and I think we spec that out for pretty much every single one of these garages. Not that we sell that, but we put it in there because I know a lot of you guys plan on doing that and want to. That made a huge difference in, you know, all the garages that we've done, like Matt's garages. That jack shaft opener, and then just getting rid of the whole assembly that's in the middle of the ceiling, makes a huge difference in being able to make the space feel more open. And when you're dealing with a, you know, 20 by 20 or something like that, that makes a massive difference. If you have space for cabinets, great, you know, put some in there. If you're gonna convert it to a single car garage, now that really opens you up to be able to use those side walls, because in the 20 by 20 you don't have a lot of depth to deal with. So if you're going to fit a car in there, usually you can with some cabinets, but if you're going to do any kind of work, like you're detailing or working on a car or anything like that, if you have cabinets on that back wall, it really makes it difficult. Payton was able to do that though, because he had the, you know, this extra little alcove. So if you have those extra alcoves, figure out a way to use them and utilize that space, because that's going to make a massive difference in what you're going to be able to, you know, fit into your garage. last up is another slightly larger one. This is Eddie's garage, Edward. It's a little bit wider, 23.5, and then it's definitely deeper because of this alcove. So it's 27.5, and then I think, you know, if we look at this space over here, we're at, you know, 23, almost 24. So this one's a little bit bigger, but it'll still give you, I think, some options and some ideas. So let me open up the camera here. I'll show you this upper cabinet thing, which works really well in tighter spaces. He let me know that his dad was doing this cool, like, brushed metal panel on the walls in the garage. So that's why the walls look like this. It's not something that we're going to provide, but, you know, wanted to at least make the garage look somewhat accurate, or at least show that, hey, there's going to be something on these walls. So that's why we have that there. He's got a lot of windows, which really limits our ability to include storage. Ceilings are a little bit lower, which a lot of the smaller garages, you know, 20 by 20, have to deal with. So we ended up doing some recessed Utopia lights, which look really good, and they're really high quality fixture. These are custom to where they can be pretty much any length in intervals of 1 foot. So we were able to kind of get those to fit each of these runs, you know, pretty well. And it's going to provide a lot of really good light to this space. They're pretty comparable, I would say, to, as far as output goes, to the Cree linears. Different, of course, because being recessed, you don't have the lens that comes around, so it's just a flat bottom, so you only have light coming down. It's not going to have as much light kind of shining up, you know, the sides, of course, so you'll get a little bit more shadowing, but it'll still be really, you know, a really cool effect and look really good. And then over here on the left side of the garage, if you were driving into it, you can see how we did the cabinet setup here for detailing. So we did some of the MSS Plus, I don't remember what size these are. These are the 720 millimeter upper cabinets, just like I have back here. And, you know, normally they're made to be able to mount to the back panel system, the posts that Sonic has, but you can mount them on a wall as well. It does make it a little bit trickier in terms of how to get power into them. So you have to plan. You can see here we've got an outlet in the cabinet itself. So basically you'd have a box in your wall. I'm not an electrician, so don't take this as law, but you have a box in your wall. You cut a hole in the back of your cabinet after you install it, or maybe, you know, before, so that you can get it in the right spot. And then you can install your outlet actually into the back of the cabinet. And that's a great way to get concealed power in there. And you could do, you know, one per cabinet if you wanted to, or just one, you know, however you want to do it for yourself. You could then use the power bars like we have in ours to plug into that. So then you're using the power bar rather than just the outlet. So you can have more things plugged in and all of that. So this garage, you know, worked out pretty cool. And that wall over here especially is something that you could kind of incorporate into your own space if you don't have a lot of room, because even though this is a wider garage, you can look at where these doors are. I mean, they are like right to the edge. So when you actually pull a car into this space, it's going to be tight. I don't have any in here right now. Let me see if I can throw a GT3 in here or something like that. So even with the size of this garage, he does have some space constraints, as you can see here, you know, with the stairwell and stuff like that. So it does get really tight. Gives you a little bit of an idea of, you know, the space around. And now you can see that if, depending on what height you put your upper cabinets at, then you don't have to worry about banging into stuff with your car door and stuff like that. This reel right here is just a stand-in to show where he's going to put an Ely reel. I don't recommend doing the Cox reels for garden hose stuff. So fortunately, with the wall cabinets and the Krenzla and all of that, everything is up off the floor except for the buckets, which isn't a huge deal, and provides us a little bit more space to be able to move around. And if that was your only cabinet situation, again, remember, you can do like the Hazard or the Wera tools, the little kits that they have. Sonic has some too. I don't know if we've really, I mean, we know the tools, of course, but we've not really messed around with like their little cases, so you could do that too. throw some Sonic cases in there, and that would be a sweet little setup. So obviously his garage, you know, he's got the alcove, so we had some space to be able to put it. But even still, like, because of the wall situation and the Vespas and the bikes and everything that he's wanting to include here, there wasn't a lot of space for cabinets. Also because of the windows. So that's another thing. It's kind of an aside from the small garage scenario, but be mindful if you're building a garage of where you're going to be putting your windows and stuff, because that's going to make the cabinet situation a little difficult. If this garage was wider, it wouldn't have been a big deal because we could have put some cabinets over here on the right side, but I think it worked out pretty well the way that we've done it here. But the flooring and the lighting, even if we didn't put anything in this garage, with the recessed lighting like that and those strips as you come into the garage, you've got the Swiss Trax flooring is really going to set any garage apart. Don't fret if you feel like, oh, I just don't have enough space to make this a really cool garage. Like, just start with those basics. Start with those few things. You know, if you want help getting Swiss Trax set up, we can help you. But we also have the Swiss Trax Designer on our website. It's our own thing that we had designed for us. It's very similar to Swiss Trax's version. But the beauty of that is you can do your floor, design it in the Designer, and then it'll pop you out right into the checkout page where you can check out and buy the stuff, and it'll show up to your door in like a week or two. We're working on hopefully having a self-service garage designer tool, very similar to that, but with all of the stuff that we have, the pressure washers, cabinets, lighting, audio, all of those cool things. Hopefully we'll be able to, within the next, I would say, we'll say year, have some software designed that will allow you to be able to go in and kind of design your own garage and mess around with this and see what works for you, what works for your space. Which is especially important if you're dealing with the size constraints of, you know, a smaller 2-car garage. I deal with it every day. I know what it's like. So be prepared to, you know, convert it into a 1-car if you have the ability to park a car outside. If you do that, it really opens you up to be able to use those side walls and be able to put cabinets to the left and the right. You know, your pressure washer and detailing stuff. You can tuck your compressor into the corner and all of that. If you have to be able to park 2 cars in there, if it's kind of narrow, keep things off the side walls as much as possible, except for maybe the pressure washer on the left or the right, closer to the door. If you have something closer to this door over here, you know, the front, say this door wasn't here, we were able to move this pressure washer closer, the car doors as they swing open aren't going to hit that because it's going to be past that point. So that's something that you can take into consideration as well as, hey, where are my doors going to be opening? Because that's the big kicker. Hopefully you guys got some good ideas out of these garages. I know, you know, a lot of them are different. The way that they're set up is different, but your garage is probably different. So hopefully you were able to get some good ideas out of this that you'll be able to incorporate into your space. If you guys want help designing your garage, reach out to us, design@obsessedgarage.com. We've been making some changes to our design process and how we do things and what we're able to provide. And you can't get this anywhere else. Nobody has the product selection all under one roof with the knowledge that these guys have and the ability to churn out, you know, the number of garages that we've done. I think really benefits us to, you know, hopefully be able to make your space dialed in to exactly the way that you want it. That's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.